Hi everyone, and welcome to TWF Rampage. Hi everyone, and welcome to TWF Dynamite or Mike. Mike Lane, Tony Schiavone, and Montel Vertadius Porter here. And today on Dynamite or Mike, we're going to see Holy Fellow Nicholas. He's going to be here, here today on Rampage or Ram Through, Mike Lane says. You got that right, Tony Schiavone said. We've been seeing Holy Fellow Nicholas for the last week and going into this week, And it's good to see Father Yo again, Tony Schiavone says. Yes, it is, Montel Vertadius Porter says. We do know that there is Team Jesus fight Team Santa. That's coming up at the Survivor Series or the Living Saga, Tony Schiavone says. Yes, it is, Montel Vertadius Porter says. Mike and Tony, yes, it is. So it's listening up to him. Hi, everyone. I am Holy Fellow Nicholas, or known as Father Yule to some of you, to the folks in the Even Land. Or, I have many sundriest names. And I know that a lot of folks always wonder, why do I do what I do? What is my goal? Well, my goal, my life work, is to onlook the birth of Jesus, Son of God. You see, God gave Jesus to us as a gift, and the gift that God gave to us for Jesus was, well, not only love and forgiveness, but also, our sins being cleaned away, and also our stead in heaven. And I give out the gifts the same way God gave Jesus to us as a gift, the same way those wise kings gave gifts to Jesus when he was born. And a lot of folks out there always happen to, bitch about me. And they might say, if you're doing it to onlook Jesus, they might say. Someone might say, might do it, to onlook Jesus. Someone might say, then how come you can't be around, but Jesus can? Well, the asking thing is, why can I be around and Jesus cannot? That is the asking thing that you folks are asking me. Well, the only grounds that I can come up with is that since a lot of folks from other worships and other beliefs don't believe in Jesus, they'll feel that their worship or belief is not giving the onlook. And you never gave me a gift on y'all, you shithead. First off, Skeletor. First off, Skeletor, I did give you gifts on Yule. You got one gift that I never gave. I gave you gifts on Yule. The one gift that you got through God and through Jesus was that forever life, and that stead in heaven. But I know how you behave like, Skeletor. I know how you like to behave like. I've seen the He-Man drawing show done by Hanna-Barbera and all the other follow-ups, so I know how you behave. Well, if you know how I behave, you know that I am one of the most evilest followers of the 401 bonds of evil, and you're gonna give me the gift that I always wanted. As we all know that He-Man's not here. Well, that's where you're wrong, Skeletor. I am here. The stretchable He-Man that got bought from big lots like last month. And I tell you something right now, Skeletor. This might be my first match here in the toy wrestling gathering. And I've always been a follower of the 4-1 Bonds of Good. And I always spent my whole life fighting against you. And you should know something, Skeletor. A follower of the 4-1 Bonds of Good will always be the follower of the 4-1 Bonds of Evil. If you think I'm going to let you do anything evil to Father Yule, I'll let you do anything evil to this beloved, unlooked underling of God and Jesus, then you think again, because I will not. He-Man, I know you've been good. You haven't been flawless. No man can be flawless or sinless, but you've been good. So, thank you for helping me, He-Man. Thank you for coming out and helping me with your longtime foe Skeletor. And I would say that Skeletor, you need the love of God and Jesus. That's who you need, holy fellow Nicholas. Father Yule says. That's right, He-Man says. If you ever learned the love and forgiveness of God and Jesus, then you wouldn't be this way. But here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to fight. See, I'm going to wrestle. I'm going to fight. Alright? I'm going to stand up for Father Yule. I'm going to stand up for God. I'm going to stand up for Jesus. Well, God bless you, He-Man. And good luck with you fighting Skeletor. And Skeletor, don't forget, you can always shift your ways. You can always get that love and forgiveness from God and Jesus. Well, it seems that Skeletor, the longtime foe of He-Man from the old Hanna-Barbera drawing show, and all the other Hanna-Barbera He-Man under overlings of the world, because there have been many offshoots and follow-ups to that drawing show. But everyone probably is more known about, that one. And right now, He-Man taking down Skeletor right now with a close take, a body slam. And Skeletor is in a bind right now of his own making, with his sagas of sundry body slams to Skeletor. Mike Lane says. Well, I can tell you one thing. They don't do this in the NHL. They don't do this in the land ice game business. Tony Schiavone says, all your years of calling ice games, they don't do that, do they? Tony Schiavone says. No, they don't. Hey, Mike Lane, I gotta tell you something right now, Mike. They don't do that, Tony Schiavone says, in the NFL, the NHL. They didn't do that in all those ice games you called over those years, Tony Schiavone says. And Skeletor, he's in a bind right now and kicked out of the ring, Tony Schiavone says. I tell you what, He-Man, that stretchable offshoot of him that was bought from Big Lots a month ago, and now he shows up here in the toy wrestling gathering and he just brings back in Skeletor. Now, I don't know why Skeletor and He-Man have been fighting over those years. I guess it must be over the Sword of Greystone, or what allows him to shapeshift into He-Man. Montel Ratatis Porter says, but I don't like him. I never really did like, He-Man and the overlings of the world. He-Man just missed. Yeah, Montel Ratatis Porter says, it's time for Skeletor, to get even his upside on He-Man. Yeah, take He-Man down, Montel Ratatis Porter says. So tell me, Mike Lane said, how can you be on the side of He-Man? I mean, how can you be on the side of Skeletor when he is a sinner and a outlaw and he's done sundry sinful and unlawful things over the years as a follower of the 401 bonds of evil, Mike Lane says. Montel Atadius Porter. Yeah, Tony Schiavone says, how can you like someone, who behaves like that? Tony Schiavone says, well, I'm a heel, Montel Atadius Porter says. And what is a heel? All the followers of the 401 bonds of evil are heels. And Skeletor, well, let's just say, when it came to God's and Jesus' rays of goodness, he may have been shifted good, but he chose to become evil again. And he's from Oldies, believe it or not. We got him from Oldies last month too. Montel Atadius Porter says, I love heels and bullies and creeps. Here comes, He-Man's got him. Well, if you love bullies, hills, and creeps, you're going to love this. Looks like Skeletor is down. He-Man's going to get the win over his longtime foe, Skeletor, with some kind of weird body slam like hold, Mike Lane says. Forgive me for not knowing all the holds in skilled wrestling. You're forgiven, Tony Schiavone says. Will He-Man beat Skeletor here today on Dynamite or Might? 1, 2, 3. Ding ding ding. Here is your winner. Here is your winner. Ugh. Here is your winner. We'll say it like this. We'll say, here is your, and it'll say, well, I guess tomorrow I'll do the Xena film. Well, here is your winner, He-Man. And He-Man has beat Skeletor here today on Dynamite or Might, Mike Lane says. Yes, he has, Tony Schiavone says. Yes, he has, Tony Schiavone says. He has beat Skeletor here today on Dynamite or Might, Mike Lane says. Yes, he has, Tony Schiavone says. He-Man standing up for Father Yule, standing up for God Almighty, standing up for Jesus, the healer, the freer, and the teacher. He-Man is a well-on-looked follower of the 401 bonds of good, Mike Lane says. Yes, he is, Tony Schiavone says. And it was a good thing that He-Man showed up here today. Who knows what Skeletor would have done to Father Yule, or Holy Fellow Nicholas, or the Heavenly Gift Giver, Tony Schiavone says, or that underling of God and Jesus. I don't know, Montel Atadius Porter says. He-Man, he besmirched. He didn't put over Skeletor. Skeletor is one of the greatest followers of the 401 bonds of evil, and he didn't put him over, Montel Atadius Porter says. Well, some would say that Lord Zed, for mighty shifting might keepers, is the greatest follower of the 401 bonds of evil, Mike Lane says. But then again, everyone's going to say they're the evilest one out there, Tony Schiavone says. Well, looks like it is. Now we're going to take it away to Gorilla Monsoon, Mike Lane says. Thank you, Mike Lane and Tony Schiavone. I'm going to talk with Skeletor here today on Dynamite or Might. Alright, Skeletor. You're still the same bully creeping hill you've ever been. And you thought you would do something to Holy Fellow Nicholas here today. That did not happen. Let me tell you something, Gorilla Monsoon. Who the hell would name their son Gorilla Monsoon? What kind of ring name is that? First off, I'm going to tell you right now that I've always hated He-Man. Everyone thinks that He-Man is this great follower of the 401 bonds of good. Oh, he loves and worships and follows God and Jesus. Oh, he stood up for Father Yule. Let me tell you something. I've been fighting He-Man for years. You know, me being a Hanna-Barbera self, or should I say now a Warner Brothers Discovery, Turner Broadcasting Hanna-Barbera self. I've always hated He-Man, and I always will. Skeletor, I don't know why you and He-Man been fighting over all those years. I don't know your backsaw, your back to why it is. You came out, you want to do something to Father Yule, and it didn't work. I tell you right now, Gorilla Monsoon, I'm going to get even with He-Man. I will have the last laugh. You hear me? I'm one of the most evilest followers of the 401 Bonds of Evil. Well, that's my talk with Skeletor. Back to you, Mike Lane and Tony Schiavone. Well, thank you, Gorilla Monsoon, for talking with Skeletor here today on Dynamite or Might. And it is all the time we got here for Dynamite or Might. I, Mike Lane, Tony Schiavone, Montel Vertadius Porter. We hope you like Dynamite or Might, and we'll see you tomorrow.